Discovery. The massive exploration vessel Luminous Inquiry glided silently through the void, its sleek silver hull reflecting the distant starlight as it approached the unassuming yellow star. Commander Lyra Vox stood on the observation deck, her iridescent scales shifting from deep blue to violet as she contemplated their mission. The Zentari exploration fleet had been charting this neglected sector of the galaxy for nearly a standard cycle, cataloging forgotten worlds and searching for resources to fuel their expanding civilization. "Commander, we're entering the target system now," announced Science Officer Krell, his four arms working in perfect coordination across the holographic interface. 7 planets, standard distribution. Third planet shows signs of a nitrogen-oxygen atmosphere, though readings indicate no significant technological activity. Lyra's membrane-covered eyes narrowed. "Another dead world, then." "Not exactly dead, Commander," Krell replied, his voice carrying a hint of curiosity. "The planet shows extensive biosphere activity, but the curious thing is the historical records. This system matches coordinates from the ancient archives, supposedly once home to a species called humans." Lyra's head crest expanded slightly in surprise. Every spacefaring civilization had heard of humans, a footnote in galactic history, a species that had briefly flourished 500,000 years ago before mysteriously vanishing. They were little more than a myth to most modern species. "Humans, are you certain?" she asked, moving closer to examine the data herself. "The coordinates match, Commander. This must be Earth, their homeworld." The revelation sent a ripple of excitement through the bridge crew. Humans were something of a galactic legend, a species that had apparently developed spacefaring technology with remarkable speed, but disappeared before establishing a lasting presence. Some scholars believed they had destroyed themselves. Others theorized they had transcended physical form or flowed to another galaxy. Whatever the truth, their legacy was merely a collection of fragmented records and occasional ruins found on distant worlds. "Adjust our course," Lyra ordered. "Let's get a closer look at this Earth." As the Luminous Inquiry entered orbit around the third planet, the crew was struck by its beauty. Swirling white clouds over vast blue oceans, green and brown landmasses, and ice-capped poles. Life had clearly continued long after its dominant species had vanished. "Remarkable," muttered Lyra. "After 500,000 years, I'd have expected more ecological change." Krell's fingers danced across his console. "Commander, I'm detecting something unusual. There are energy signatures coming from the planet's surface. Faint but unmistakable. Natural phenomena." "No, Commander. These are artificial patterns, regulated energy pulses. They're coming from multiple locations, primarily concentrated in what appears to be a large ocean basin." Lyra's crest fully extended now, a sign of both alarm and excitement among her species. How is that possible? If humans disappeared 500,000 years ago, no technology should still be functioning. "I don't know, Commander," Krell admitted. "But these readings suggest we're not looking at a truly dead civilization." The decision was made quickly. Within hours, a scout vessel descended through Earth's atmosphere, carrying Lyra, Krell, and a small team of specialists. They touched down on a coastline adjacent to a vast ocean, what ancient records would have called the Pacific. Dense vegetation had reclaimed most of the land, erasing almost all visible signs of the civilization that once dominated the planet. "The energy signatures are coming from approximately 200 kilometers offshore," Krell reported as they disembarked. "Underwater, at significant depth." Lyra stared out at the endless blue horizon. "Prepare the submersible drone. Let's see what's down there." The drone, a sleek teardrop-shaped device, slipped beneath the waves and began its descent. The crew gathered around the monitoring station as the feed showed the drone plunging through increasingly darker waters. "Approaching source of energy readings," announced Terex, the engineering specialist. "Depth is approximately 3,000 meters." The drone's lights illuminated the darkness, revealing the ocean floor. And something else. Rising from the sediment was a massive structure, clearly artificial, its surface covered in marine growth, but its geometric precision unmistakable. "By the first stars," whispered Krell. "It's huge." The structure stretched for kilometers, a complex of interconnected facilities partially buried in the seabed. As the drone moved closer, they could see massive doors, sealed tight against the crushing pressure, emblazoned with faded symbols. "Can we translate those markings?" Lara asked. Krell directed the drone closer. "They appear to match the human language samples in our archives." It reads, "Pacific Fleet Command, authorized personnel only. A military installation," Lara concluded. "Are there any access points?" The drone continued its survey, eventually locating a smaller entry port. With careful maneuvering, Teryx guided it inside, revealing a cavernous antechamber. Remarkably, the interior was dry, some ancient technology still maintaining a seal against the ocean outside. "Atmosphere inside is breathable," Krell noted with surprise. "Temperature is stable at 18 degrees. How could systems still be functioning after 500,000 years?" "The energy source must be something beyond our understanding," Lara said. "We need to investigate in person." Hours later, a larger expedition vessel hovered above the coordinates. Using precision teleportation technology, Lara and her team materialized inside the underwater facility, their environmental suits protecting them from potential hazards. The interior was dim, illuminated only by occasional strips of soft blue light that activated as they approached. The walls were smooth, made of some composite material that showed virtually no degradation despite the passage of time. "This defies all known engineering principles," Teryx said, scanning the surrounding structure. "No material should last this long without maintenance." They moved deeper into the facility, following the soft blue lighting that seemed to guide their path. Eventually, they reached a massive circular door that slid open silently as they approached. "It's responding to our presence," Krell observed nervously. "There must be automated systems still active." Beyond the door lay a vast chamber that left the entire team speechless. Suspended in enormous cradles were warships, dozens of them. Sleek, intimidating vessels unlike anything in the modern galaxy. Each was at least a kilometer in length, their hulls a deep charcoal gray with subtle blue illumination along certain sections. They hung in perfect preservation, as if they had been constructed yesterday rather than 500,000 years ago. "This is impossible," Lara whispered, her scales shifting to pale yellow in shock. "These vessels, their design is more advanced than anything in the Centauri fleet." Krell was frantically recording data. "The technology level contradicts everything we know about human civilization. Historical records indicated they had only achieved limited interstellar travel before their disappearance." As they ventured further into the chamber, a cylindrical platform in the center began to glow. The team approached cautiously, weapons ready. The platform illuminated fully, and a beam of light shot upward, coalescing into a holographic figure. A human male dressed in what appeared to be a military uniform. Though merely a projection, the figure possessed an unsettling realism. "Unidentified visitors detected," the hologram announced in a deep, resonant voice. "Accessing translation protocols. Language analysis complete. Welcome to Pacific Fleet Command. I am Admiral Constantine's strategic interface. State your identity and purpose." Lara stepped forward, her diplomatic training taking over despite her shock. "I am Commander Lyra Vox of the Centauri Exploration Fleet. We are peaceful explorers from the Centauri Confederacy. We discovered your facility and wish to understand its purpose." The hologram seemed to assess her, its eerily lifelike eyes studying each member of the team. "Scanning biological signatures. Species unknown. Timeline analysis indicates approximately 497,834 years have passed since final human presence. Protocol Delta is in effect." "Protocol Delta?" Lara inquired cautiously. "Contingency measures established prior to the Exodus," the hologram explained. "All Earth defense installations were placed in dormancy, to be awakened only when conditions warrant. Your presence has triggered initial assessment protocols. Terex moved closer to Lyra. Commander, this doesn't make sense. If humans disappeared, who created these contingency measures? And why? The hologram answered before Lyra could respond. The human species did not become extinct. The exodus was a coordinated departure from this galaxy, necessitated by the approaching threat. What threat? Krell asked. That information is classified under Protocol Delta. However, the presence of non-human sentience within this facility necessitates security measures. Suddenly, the soft blue lighting shifted to a pulsing red. Around them, the massive warships began to show signs of activation. Lights appearing along their hulls, subtle vibrations resonating through the chamber. Warning, announced the hologram, its voice now sharper. Unauthorized presence detected. Defensive systems initializing. We mean no harm, Lyra insisted, raising her hands in a universal gesture of peace. We are merely explorers. The hologram flickered briefly. Intent assessment in progress. Stand by. The team exchanged nervous glances as small drones detached from the ceiling and began circling them, scanning with pale blue beams. Commander, Krell whispered urgently, I'm detecting massive power surges throughout the facility. Something is waking up, and not just here. My instruments show similar activations at other locations around the planet. The hologram stabilized again. Assessment complete. Your species designation, Centauri, is unknown to our databases. No historical conflicts or alliances are on record. Threat assessment, indeterminate. We assure you, we are not a threat, Lyra said firmly. The Centauri are a peaceful civilization dedicated to exploration and knowledge. Your assurances are noted, the hologram replied. However, Protocol Delta requires full assessment before granting access to Earth's defense network. You have inadvertently activated the first stage of Earth's awakening protocols. Awakening protocols. Lyra repeated, a sense of dread growing within her. Affirmative. Earth was never abandoned, Commander Vox. It was preserved, a final line of defense for humanity's return, or a last weapon against their enemies. You now stand inside one small node of the most powerful military force ever created by human hands. As if to emphasize the point, the nearest warship's engines flared briefly, the deep rumble shaking the entire chamber. The Earth Defense Fleet is now at preliminary alert status, the hologram continued. Full activation will depend on subsequent evaluation of your intentions and the current galactic situation. I recommend you return to your vessel while this assessment is conducted. Before Lyra could protest, the hologram raised a hand. Be advised, automated warning beacons have been activated throughout the solar system. Any aggressive action will result in immediate defensive response. We understand, Lyra said, signaling her team to prepare for teleportation back to their ship. We will comply with your assessment. As they prepared to depart, the hologram offered one final statement. Commander Vox, you have discovered something few beings have witnessed in 500,000 years. Humanity's final legacy. What happens next depends entirely on what the galaxy has become in our absence. In a shimmer of light, the team teleported back to their vessel. As the luminous inquiry pulled back to a safer distance, they watched in awe as points of light began to appear across Earth's surface. Ancient installations awakening from their long slumber. Commander, the communications officer called out, we're detecting powerful transmission signals emanating from the planet. They appear to be directed toward multiple points beyond this solar system. Lyra stared at the view screen, watching as Earth, supposedly dead for 500,000 years, came alive with activity. It's calling for something, she said quietly. Or to something. What do we do now, Commander? Krell asked. Lyra's scales shifted to a determined blue-green. We wait, and we pray to the first stars that whatever humanity left behind judges us worthy of survival. In the darkness of space surrounding the solar system, ancient beacons, dormant for centuries, began to pulse with renewed energy, their signals racing outward to distant stars. Humanity's greatest secret was awakening, and the galaxy was about to be reminded of what it had forgotten. Awakening. 3 days had passed since the luminous inquiry had retreated to a cautious orbit around Mars, the fourth planet in the system. The Zentari crew had maintained constant observation of Earth, documenting with growing amazement as the ancient human installations continued their reactivation sequence. Another facility has surfaced in the northern polar region, reported Krell, his usually calm demeanor now tinged with excitement. That makes 17 major installations we've identified so far. Commander Lyra studied the holographic display showing Earth's gradually transforming surface. What had initially appeared to be a natural, recovered ecosystem was revealing itself to be something far more deliberate. Vast structures were emerging from beneath oceans, ice caps, and mountain ranges, all part of an interconnected defensive network that had remained hidden for 500,000 years. "The camouflage technology is remarkable," she observed. "These installations were designed to become part of the natural landscape, indistinguishable from geological features." "Commander," called Terex from the engineering station, "the High Command has responded to our reports." Lyra's crest tightened slightly. She had been anticipating this. "Put it through to my private chamber." Minutes later, she faced the holographic projection of High Admiral Zexer, his aged scales a distinguished silver blue. His expression revealed nothing, but the slight pulsing of his throat membrane indicated concern. "Commander Vox," he began formally, "your discovery is unprecedented. The Council has reviewed your data and finds it difficult to reconcile with established historical records." "I understand the skepticism, Admiral," Lyra replied. "But I assure you, everything in our reports is accurate. Earth was not abandoned, it was preserved, along with a military force beyond anything we've ever encountered. A military force that has remained operational for 500,000 years. Zexer's doubt was evident. No power source known to modern science could sustain such longevity." "With respect, Admiral, that's precisely the point. Human technology clearly achieved breakthroughs we haven't yet understood." The Admiral's membrane fluttered again. "The Council has made its decision. You are to establish diplomatic contact with this remnant of human civilization. Determine its intentions and capabilities. Most critically, assess whether it presents a threat to the Confederacy. And if it does," Lyra asked cautiously, "then a larger fleet will be dispatched." The implication was clear. "Proceed with caution, Commander. Out." As the transmission ended, Lyra allowed herself a moment of reflection. The High Command didn't fully grasp what they were dealing with. How could they? The briefest glimpse of the Earth Defense Fleet had been enough to convince her that human military technology had far surpassed anything in the modern galaxy. Her contemplation was interrupted by an urgent communication. "Commander, the Earth Defense System is hailing us." Returning to the bridge, Lyra nodded to the communications officer. "Put it through." The main view screen flickered to life, revealing the holographic Admiral Constantine, his expression stern but not hostile. "Commander Vox, the preliminary assessment of your vessel and crew is complete." "And the results?" Lyra asked, trying to keep the nervousness from her voice. "Your species presents no immediate threat profile based on our historical databases. Furthermore, passive scans of your communications indicate no connection to entities classified as hostile to human interests." The hologram paused. "As such, Protocol Delta has been modified to allow limited cooperation." A collective sigh of relief passed through the bridge crew. "We extend an invitation for you and a small delegation to return to Pacific Fleet Command for further discussion. This represents a significant exception to standard security protocols." Lyra's crest extended slightly in surprise. "We accept your invitation, Admiral. When should we arrive?" "Coordinates are being transmitted to your vessel now. You may proceed when ready." The hologram flickered briefly. "Be advised that while your intentions have been deemed non-hostile, security measures remain active." Any deviation from the designated approach vector will be interpreted as aggressive action. Hours later, Lara led a small team back to the underwater facility, this time through a different entrance, a massive bay that had opened in the seafloor, allowing their shuttle to dock directly within the complex. As they disembarked, they were met by hovering drones that escorted them through gleaming corridors, far more active than during their first visit. "The entire facility has fully powered up," noted Krell, scanning their surroundings. "Energy readings are off the charts." They were led to a vast circular chamber dominated by a holographic projection of Earth in its center. Around the walls stood what appeared to be stasis pods, hundreds of them, each containing what looked like a sleeping human. "Welcome to Pacific Fleet Command Central Operations," announced Admiral Constantine's hologram as it materialized beside them. "What you see before you is Earth's contingency." Lara approached one of the stasis pods, studying the perfectly preserved human within, a female with pale skin and dark hair, dressed in what appeared to be a military uniform. "Are they alive?" she asked in wonder. "They exist in suspended animation," Constantine explained. "These are the command cadre, officers and specialists selected to oversee Earth's defenses in the event of critical scenarios." "For 500,000 years?" Terex asked incredulously. "How is that possible?" The hologram's expression remained impassive. "Human technological development accelerated exponentially in our final decades on Earth. Breakthroughs in quantum engineering, dark energy manipulation, and biological preservation occurred virtually simultaneously." Lara turned from the stasis pod. "Your earlier statement mentioned an exodus. What happened to humanity? Why did they leave?" Constantine gestured, and the holographic Earth in the center of the room transformed, showing a galactic map. Approximately 500,000 years ago, human deep space telescopes detected an approaching threat, a wave of dark energy propagating through the galaxy, destroying or corrupting all advanced life in its path. The hologram showed a visualization of this wave, an ominous purple-black front moving slowly but inexorably through star systems. "We called it the Void Current. Its origins were unknown, possibly extragalactic or even extra-dimensional. Analysis indicated it would reach Earth within 2 centuries. Humanity faced a choice: attempt to fight an incomprehensible cosmic force, or flee beyond its reach." "They chose to flee," Lara concluded. "Not entirely," Constantine corrected. "The majority of humanity undertook the Great Exodus, a massive relocation to the neighboring Andromeda galaxy using experimental fold space technology. But Earth itself was too valuable to abandon completely." The hologram changed again, showing massive construction projects, orbital shipyards building the very warships they had seen. Project Sentinel was initiated. Earth would be preserved as both a memorial and a fallback position. The defense fleet was constructed and placed in dormancy, along with volunteer crews in stasis. Automated systems would monitor the galaxy, and if conditions ever became favorable, either awaken the sleepers or signal the descendants of those who fled to return. Krell stepped forward, his scientific curiosity overwhelming his caution. "But the power requirements for such long-term preservation were solved through zero-point energy extraction," Constantine interrupted. "What you would likely call vacuum energy harvesting. The technical specifications are restricted, but suffice to say, Earth's defense systems can remain operational for approximately 3 million years without maintenance." The scale of the engineering feat left the Zentari team speechless. Their own civilization considered zero-point energy theoretical at best. "Why are you sharing this information with us?" Lara finally asked. The hologram's expression became more serious. "Because preliminary deep space scans indicate the void current has dissipated. After 500,000 years, its energy signature has faded to negligible levels. The galaxy may once again be safe for human habitation. And the humans in Andromeda, will they return?" "Unknown. The communication beacons have been activated, but the distance is vast. It may be centuries before any response is received, if their civilization even survived. Constantine paused. Which brings us to the more immediate concern. Earth's awakening has not gone unnoticed. The holographic display shifted to show a fleet of ships approaching the solar system. Vessels with a distinctive crimson hue and predatory, angular design. Long-range sensors have detected this fleet on an intercept course. Based on visual analysis, they appear to match the profile of a species known in human records as the Vorax, a highly aggressive, expansion-driven civilization that was in its early development stages when humanity departed. Lyra's scales paled. The Vorax Empire. They control nearly a quarter of the galaxy now. They're not known for peaceful contact. Then it seems Earth's defensive capabilities may be tested sooner than anticipated. Constantine stated, "The Sentinel Protocol dictates that Earth's resources be used to safeguard sapient life against existential threats. If these Vorax represent such a threat, intervention may be warranted." Intervention? Terex questioned. "You mean war?" "That will depend on their intentions," the hologram replied. "But preparations must be made. That is why I am authorized to offer an alliance between Earth's defense forces and your Zentari Confederacy." The proposal stunned Lyra. "An alliance? Our civilizations have never met before now." "Sometimes, Commander Vox, the most enduring alliances are forged in moments of shared danger." Constantine gestured, and a section of the wall slid open, revealing a chamber they hadn't noticed before. "If you accept, you will be granted access to certain technologies that may help protect your people from what is coming." Before Lyra could respond, an alarm sounded throughout the facility. The holographic display shifted to show the approaching Vorax fleet, now moving at increased speed. "They've detected the energy signatures," Constantine announced, "and they've changed course to intercept directly. Estimated arrival: 16 hours. Lyra exchanged glances with her team. This was far beyond the scope of their exploratory mission, but the implications were clear. The Vorax were coming, likely with hostile intent, and the awakening of Earth's defenses represented both a danger and an opportunity. "I cannot commit the entire Confederacy," she said carefully, "but the Luminous Inquiry and her crew will stand with Earth." Constantine nodded. "A start. Now, Commander, there is much to prepare. The Vorax must not be allowed to seize control of this facility or any other Earth installation. The consequences would be substantial." Lyra felt a chill at these words. How substantial? The Earth Defense Fleet was designed to protect humanity against threats both known and theoretical. Its weapons systems include stellar manipulation technology, gravimetric distortion projectors, and targeted dark matter accelerators. "World killers," Terex whispered. "Galaxy shapers," Constantine corrected. In the wrong hands, such power could destabilize the entire region. In the worst case, it could trigger precisely the kind of catastrophe that drove humanity from this galaxy in the first place. As if sensing their growing apprehension, the hologram's expression softened slightly. "Rest assured, Commander Vox, Earth's defenses have extensive ethical constraints. They were built to protect, not conquer, but they must not fall into aggressive hands." Suddenly, a stasis pod across the chamber hummed to life, its translucent cover sliding open with a soft hiss. The human female inside, the one Lyra had examined earlier, opened her eyes, taking a deep breath as consciousness returned. "Admiral Constantine," the woman said, her voice hoarse from disuse. "Protocol Sentinel Actual is now in effect." "Yes, Captain Vega," the hologram replied. "The conditions have been met. Earth requires living command." Captain Vega sat up slowly, her movements careful as her body readjusted to consciousness. She looked directly at the Zentari delegation, showing remarkable composure at the sight of their alien features. "These are our allies?" she asked. "The Zentari Confederacy," Constantine confirmed. "They discovered our facility 3 days ago." Vega nodded, then addressed Lyra directly. Commander, I apologize for the abrupt introduction. I am Captain Sofia Vega, Earth Defense Force. It seems we'll be facing our first crisis together. Lyra was struck by the human's composure. After 500,000 years in stasis, she was already focused on the threat at hand. The honor is ours, Captain. Though I wish our first contact had occurred under less pressing circumstances. As do I, Vega replied, standing carefully and accepting a supportive arm from a medical drone that had approached. But history is rarely so accommodating. Now let's prepare for our visitors. Over the next several hours, more stasis pods activated throughout the facility, awakening the command crew. Meanwhile, Lyra coordinated with the Luminous Inquiry, positioning it to provide early warning of the Vorax approach. Captain Vega, despite having just awakened after 500,000 years, quickly assumed command of the defense preparations. The Earth installations, all 17 that had been identified, were now in full communication, their systems synchronized and alert. Deep beneath the planet's surface, the massive warships that had so awed Lyra and her team began to power up, their ancient reactors humming with energy that had laid dormant for eons. In the command center, Vega studied tactical displays with Lyra. The Vorax fleet consists of 35 vessels of varying classes, the human captain noted. Impressive, but not overwhelming. Don't underestimate them, Lyra cautioned. The Vorax have conquered dozens of worlds. Their technological level is among the highest in the known galaxy. Vega smiled slightly, perhaps by current standards, but they're about to face technology from a civilization that had already moved beyond this galaxy 500,000 years ago. The confidence wasn't mere bravado, Lyra realized. The humans genuinely believed in their technological superiority, and from what she had seen, they might be right. Commander, Krull called urgently from a communications console. We're receiving a transmission from the Vorax fleet. A new hologram appeared in the center of the command chamber, a Vorax commander, his reptilian features twisted in what might have been a smile or a grimace. His scales were a deep crimson, with bony ridges protruding from his skull and jawline. Zentari vessel. The Vorax began without preamble. You have trespassed in territory claimed by the Eternal Empire. More concerning, you appear to have activated ancient weapons systems that rightfully belong to the Empire by right of conquest. Lyra stepped forward. Admiral Kraft, this system is unclaimed territory. The Zentari are here on a peaceful scientific mission. Scientific. The Vorax laughed, a harsh sound. Our sensors detect massive energy signatures consistent with military installations. You have discovered something of great value, Commander Vox, and the Empire will have it. His eyes narrowed. Surrender control of these installations immediately, and the Empire may show mercy to your crew. Before Lyra could respond, Captain Vega moved into view of the transmission. The Vorax Admiral's eyes widened in shock. Human. He hissed in disbelief. Impossible. Admiral Kraft, Vega said calmly, I am Captain Sofia Vega of the Earth Defense Force. This is humanity's homeworld, preserved and defended by technologies your empire cannot hope to counter. I strongly suggest you alter course and leave this system immediately. The Vorax recovered quickly from his surprise, his shock transforming into predatory interest. So the legends were true. Earth was not abandoned but hidden. All the better. The Eternal Empire will claim not only your weapons but your knowledge as well. His voice dropped to a menacing growl. Your species has been gone for 500,000 years, human. The galaxy belongs to the Vorax now. You are nothing but a relic. Vega's expression remained impassive. You have 12 hours to withdraw from this system. Admiral. After that, we will consider your presence an act of war. War. Kraft laughed again. Against the greatest empire the galaxy has ever known. Your arrogance is amusing, human. We will take your world, your technology, and your secrets. The Vorax fleet will arrive in 14 hours. Prepare yourselves for the end. The transmission cut off abruptly. Friendly sort, Vega remarked dryly, turning to the tactical display. Constantine, update fleet status. The AI's hologram reappeared. Earth Defense Fleet at 64% operational capacity. Estimate 82% by the time the Vorax arrive. Primary weapons systems online. Defensive shields at optimal parameters. Lara studied the human captain with growing respect. Despite having just awakened in a galaxy 500,000 years removed from her own time, she showed remarkable adaptability. Captain Vega, Lara said carefully, my ship is primarily an exploration vessel. Against a Vorax battle fleet, we will remain at a safe distance. Vega finished for her. This isn't your fight, Commander Vox. I appreciate your willingness to stand with us, but Earth can defend itself. And after? Lara asked, if you prevail against the Vorax, what then? Humanity has been absent from the galactic stage for 500,000 years. The political landscape has changed completely. Vega's expression softened. One crisis at a time, Commander. First, we ensure Earth remains free. Then, she glanced at the stasis pods where more of her crew were awakening. Then we decide what humanity's place in this new galaxy should be. As they spoke, across Earth's surface and in orbit around the planet, ancient systems continued their awakening sequence. Massive defense platforms emerged from their hiding places beneath mountains and oceans. Orbital weapon arrays, camouflaged as asteroids or small moons, powered up their targeting systems. And deep within the Pacific Fleet Command, the first of humanity's mighty warships prepared to rise from its long slumber. The countdown to confrontation had begun. In 14 hours, the galaxy would witness the true power of humanity's legacy, and the Vorax Empire would learn why Earth had never truly been abandoned.